Welcome to Season 2 of the Lipoedema podcast, hosted by Shell and Tiana. Our aim is to make noise around lipedema and educate as many people as we can about this disease.
Our guest list contains professionals who work in the field and women who live with lipedema. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back to the Lipoedema podcast. We are your hosts, Shell
and Tiana. And today we don't have a guest because it's our very first episode back for 2024. And we thought we would just have an opportunity to update you on what's been going on with us. Hi, Shell.
Hey, how are you?
Fantastic. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all of those things.
Yes, same to you. I think you can see in the background. I haven't quite got my Christmas tree put away yet. We are going to go to Bunnings and buy one of those Christmas tree boxes. So, but I just haven't got there. So they're probably all sold out and it'll just go back in its cardboard.
Yeah, well, you better hurry up because hot cross buns are already out in the stores. Isn't that nuts?
I know, and I went to Kmart because they had the Christmas tree boxes. So I went to Kmart and there is nothing Christmassy in there. And this was like 3 days after. You would not have even known we just had Christmas. It was all back to school. Like just pencil cases and backpacks and yeah.
Oh, retail works fast, don't they? Gosh.
Oh, yeah, they don't even breathe for a second. It's like, yep, move on.
So what have you been doing over Christmas?
A lot of nothing, actually. We went to Melbourne when the school holidays started, and then we've just been chilling around the house. And then we had a tornado come through the Gold Coast, which was crazy. So we had no power for a little while and lost all the food out of our fridge. And like we were lucky the house wasn't damaged. Our back fence was damaged, but our house is fine. But yeah, it was like this freak of nature. I don't know how many tornadoes Australia has, but not many. And yes, this one hit us. So,
How scary. Were you guys at home at the time?
Yeah, we were. We were watching a movie and we could see all this lightning outside. So my husband and I went out on our back deck and we were just watching this beautiful lightning show. And then I said to my husband, oh, there's rain coming. Like I could see the street lights further on and that there was this rain coming. I went, oh, better get our daughter's uniform off the line because she's got to work tomorrow. And next thing, we were like blown off the back deck. I screamed. The kids are inside. They come screaming, telling us to get in the house. And yeah, it was just, and then for like half an hour, it was just this mad wind, rain, lightning, thunder. It was pretty full on.
That sounds full on. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you're all safe and your house is not damaged. But spending Christmas evening without power and then a few days after that doesn't sound great because it was hot.
It was hot. Yep, that's why the food didn't last. And try and tell the kids not to open the fridge so that we can keep everything as cool as possible. Luckily, we're campers, so we're able to get out like cooking stuff out of the camper and be able to still, boil the kettle and make food. But yeah, it was... And we're able to charge their phones as, having teenagers in the house. Charging phones was a priority and we didn't have a battery pack for that. So,
oh my goodness. Oh, kids.
And you missed out on all of this excitement because you were away.
Yeah, we were at Stradbroke Island just living it up. Although we did get a pretty crazy storm and a very decent lightning show. Who needs fireworks when you have Queensland storms, hey? A fair share of rain, but nothing like a tornado that hit the Gold Coast. And we were just with family and had a lovely time. My husband's family came over from New Zealand, and so it was really special to spend some time with family and be in the sun.
Yes, absolutely. And be near the water.
Oh, bliss. Yeah, I do love the water. I do love the sea. I'm a little bit of a water baby.
So we had mentioned, I think was it our last episode, that going in the water, like you were looking forward to going in the water to see how different it felt. And did it feel different?
Yeah, my body changed every day, it seems. So remember last year when I had a little long weekend in the water and I told you about how, the the flesh sort of felt like it wasn't attached to my legs, and it was weird and a little bit painful. There was a little bit of that at the beginning. But as I persevered through the water and did some more walking and then some kicking and swimming and stuff, it sort of like eased off a little bit, almost like my body needed to get used to it. Um, yeah, so it ended up not being terrible. And I spent a lot of time in the water and a lot of time out of my garments. And I was really trepidatious about that. I knew it wasn't the best idea, but I was with my family and we were going down to the water like twice a day. Putting garments on and off again when you're salty and sandy is probably not very practical. But I did bring my lymphopress with me, so I definitely got in that, and that definitely saved me without the use of compression all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the same. If I didn't feel like I was doing too much, I would have put my compression on, but I definitely always had my pumps, whether it was once or twice a day, I definitely still reach for those. Yeah, especially with the heat too.
Yeah, I agree. I did. I also didn't bring my Mediven cozies because I was in like a sea environment, a sandy environment. I didn't want them to disintegrate or anything, so I brought my CZs with me, just a couple of pairs of those, and I wore them wherever possible. But during the day, mostly I was garment free, and that was quite liberating, to be honest. And I did get swelling, and that's to be expected. And the swelling also occurred because I was eating things and drinking things that I usually would not drink. So I think I suffered a little bit more because of that aspect rather than being garment free.
And did you find, like, if you compare that to pre-surgery Tiana legs, like, was there less of an effect now?
Oh, that's a really good question. Look, I think it's swelling for a different reason. Certainly, the swelling, like the post-op swelling, was minimal, and mostly just my ankles where I seem to swell a little bit more. But you can't see the swelling. I can feel the swelling, but if you were to look at my legs, you couldn't really see it. But the inflammation aspect is still there and it's still prominent. And when I don't follow my usual way of living, it's definitely visible. And I'm still feeling it now. We are still sort of in the holiday season, and we're still partying, so to speak, like with friends and family. So like lots of cheese platters, lots of like not fasting, like I usually do intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, so like less of that. Yeah, and it is taking a toll on my inflammation for sure. So I'm looking forward to getting back on track when I go back to work next week, and like I go back to my routine, and I love a routine.
Yes, we are both creatures of habit, and being a teacher and having, 5 to 6 weeks off over the Christmas break, it really does. By the time I'm back at work, I'm like, I just need my routine back. Because if I don't have routine, like I really don't have structure, and it's
Yeah.
really difficult to get things done and to, like, I haven't stretched in a few weeks, I haven't been for walks, like, yeah, I just really haven't done those extra things that I usually put into my day.
Yeah, well, being a teacher, you'd be on your feet a lot all day, which is kind of like that non-exercise activity, that neat. You benefit from your job from it. Whereas I'm an executive manager, so I work in an office and often sitting on my bottom in front of the computer all day. So when I'm on holidays, my NEAT goes up, and I'm doing like 10 to 12,000 steps a day, no problem. So I feel like because I'm not getting in my structured workouts, I'm not going to bring my weights to Stratty. And I sort of like, oh, I really want to do a workout. I'm really keen to do a workout, but at least I have that non-exercise activity that's sort of compensating a little bit for not doing my workouts. But I'm back at home and I'm back doing my workouts, and it feels really good.
It would feel amazing, and that's the thing that I've missed the most. Like, so I injured myself back in October, and so I haven't been to the gym and I haven't been doing any workouts, and I just that is so important for my mental health. So I'm just hoping, I'm meeting with my trainer on Monday, and I'm just hoping he says, okay, you can add in some light weights and let's slowly build up your strength again. Because I'm just like, oh my God, I love lifting heavy stuff. It's so good for my body and my mind, and it's really, yeah, really tricky not being able to do it.
Yeah, I totally get that. I feel the same, and even when you're told that you can't do things, you also want to do it even more. So I get that. I really hope you can get back to strength training soon.
So do I. But I will, no matter what. Like, so my husband goes back to work Monday. I've still got another week and a half off. So I'm like, okay, well, you're back at work. I'm back to routine. So I'm like, okay,
Yes.
set the alarm for 5 a.m. Let's do this thing.
Nice. Very
Let's
good.
get back. So yeah, that's like going into this year. That is my thing. I just, yeah, stick to my routines, try and get back into strength training, and yeah, that's for me personally. That's my focus this year.
That's awesome. Yeah, routine is so good, and it's much easier to put like what you do and how you do it at the back of your do every day consistently, and then you can concentrate on like implementing new things, and you don't get burnt out. I tend to find like I'm trying to save my energy by putting stuff into autopilot, and so a routine is like the best way to do that for me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So what else is going on this year for you, Shell? What's 2024 look like?
Um, really, just slowing down. My big thing is slowing down, which is, is tricky for me, even with like my stretching exercises. I find that hard to be just slowly stretching my joints and things. But yeah, I think really slowing down, being present, and just doing one thing at a time instead of trying to hit everything at once, do it all. I'm just, yeah, really trying to live that lifestyle, like just really slow it down. And also like the instant gratification, like if I want something, well, I have to wait till I've got the cash for it. I'm not, I really want to step back, like a big step back, and just really be present. And yeah, I know there's a lot of big picture type thing, but I I just feel that because of my job, like someone once described us as it's like a duck. Like you see a duck sitting on the water and it's all nice and poised, but its little legs are going 100 miles an hour under the water. And that's what it's like being a special ed teacher. You've just got to be ready for anything. And I think that's why I'm just so exhausted when it comes to holidays. And so this year, I just want to really slow everything down. Like, I don't need to be treading water all the time. Let's
Mm.
just slow down, enjoy, read a book, have a cup of tea. And I even, like, so I'm so go, go, go that even when I unload my dishwasher, if it's still a little bit wet, I just chuck it away. I don't worry about it. So
Mm.
from the 1st of January, I'm drying my dishes. If they come out, your plastic things are usually not, it's usually got dribbles on them. So I've been drying them and just slowly putting things away. And even just that one little thing, man, that makes a difference to my morning. Instead of just rush, 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 I'm just slowly like, okay, no, let's just do this. Like, what else have I got to do? What is so pressing that I have to do everything so fast? So that's what I'm sort of trying to do on a personal level. Um, Lipedema wise, I actually have decided to check out my heart. So I had that PFO test done when I was first diagnosed, and they found a hole in my heart. So I sort of put that in the too hard basket. And so over these holidays, I grabbed all the paperwork out and I was reading through it, doing some Googling. And yeah, the hole in my heart is actually stage 4, and there's only 5 stages. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I have this real fear of not being able to breathe. Like when the kids were younger, like if we drive over a bridge, I was like, oh, don't crash into the water so we won't be able to breathe. Like that sort of, yeah, I've always just had this thing with not being able to breathe. And shortness of breath is one of the side effects or one of the symptoms of having the PFO. So I'm like, well, that could actually be a big help to my overall health if I have that looked at. So actually, Monday morning, I'm going for an MRI to see if I've had any little strokes, because that's something that can happen with PFO. Check that I've had any little strokes, and then I will go to the specialist and see what the next steps are to get it fixed. So that's
That's a
me
really good
this year.
goal. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really good goal, and it's a testament to you because it's what, day 6 or 7 of the new year, and you've decided that you're going to get this thing checked, and you've got an appointment on Monday. Like, you're just so amazing. Like, yeah, you're a dog with a bone, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good, and I hope you get some resolution for that, because that's like another hurdle that you and a lot of women find during their like lipedema like journey if they're looking surgically. That's sort of a little hurdle that has to get through. So yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, and at the start, like when I first got it, I was like, and then I found out it was only that surgeon that does the test. But it's like, but then the more I thought about it, it's like, well, if you know you've got a defect and you
Mm,
then go to a surgeon who doesn't care and something happens, like
mm,
you knew, like I knew that there was a chance that something could go wrong. So why would I add that extra risk to myself? And
nice.
even when I got a second opinion, like from another surgeon about, not about that, but about my lipedema surgery, he had said that, post COVID, with all of the COVID vaccinations, that there's been an increase in heart issues. So
Mm,
that combined with the PFO, like I could really be on the table and be at risk of my heart not wanting to beat anymore. Like, and no one wants to do that. Or the fact
no.
that, have a stroke, because of this hole. So those who haven't, PFO, I don't know what it stands for. I can't remember. But it's like a little hole in your heart. So where the two sides of your heart are, there's like a little opening in the side. And so it's supposed to be closed. So blood comes in one side, oxygenated goes out the other side. This is my rudimentary explanation. And when there's that little hole, the blood, it hasn't got the same, um, can't function the same way because there is this little defect in there. So if you're having any sort of surgery, especially lipedema extraction surgery, where you've got all these little fat globules moving around, that one of those could get into your heart and into your brain because you haven't got those two sides of your heart. I think that's my way of understanding it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I suppose. And I've Googled what PFO means, and I can't pronounce it. So sorry if I butchered this, but patent foramen ovale, or ovale. Anyway, that's what it means. But effectively, it's a hole in the heart.
Yeah. And it's a birth defect, and 25% of the population have it, just in varying degrees. And it's funny because Christmas Day, my mother in law spoke to me about it. She said, "Oh, I heard you've got a hole in your heart." And she said that her little brother had died from a hole in his heart. And then I went, "Oh my God, so did my auntie. Like my dad had a little sister, and she only lived to a few months old, and she had a hole in the heart." So I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's genetic. Like, yeah, I'm lucky that
Fascinating.
I survived, I guess."
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we're all lucky, Shell.
What would the world be like without me in
I
it?
know. Awful.
All right, so how about you? What does 2024 have in store for you?
Well, as I mentioned, it's only like day 7 of 2024, and my plans have changed 4 times. So, um, originally, so I wanted to get my arms done. I wanted to get my neck surgery, which would be arms and abdomen. And because you have to wear compression for 8 weeks post-op, I wanted to do it in winter. Now, I actually work for a chief finance officer, and so the financial year and all the pressures of the financial year and end of financial year sort of start in February. From February to end of financial year, it's really nuts, and I can't rightly want to take leave unless I have a competent team and a competent staff. And I do, but the person who works for me is incredibly competent and really can go on and do greater things than working for me. Like, she's at that point now. And I thought I was going to lose her this year and I was going to send her off and, go on your little way and be great. And so it was sort of out of the question to get my surgery done, because I didn't sort of have someone who could come into the team and really do my job, but also have a competent staff member as well. And then it turned out she was staying. So all of a sudden it went from it's out of the question to I'm going to get it done this year. And then, so that about a week, I was just like, yep, I'm going to get my arm surgery done, and to hell with work, not to hell with work. I really care about my job, but they can survive without me because I have that staff member who could step up in my spot and, we could have someone else. Anyway. And then I started thinking, my husband's starting a new job this year. We didn't save any money last year because, of various things that happened in our lives, including my surgeries last year, which were expensive. We have financial goals. It's not the right time of year to be taking time off, as I mentioned before. And just all of these things started coming together to make me realize, and also end of financial year is still only like 8 months post-op. And I recognised that if I was going to use this arm and abdo surgery to also do my revision of my legs, they may not be healed enough for him to even see what he could revise. So effectively, I could be paying extra to go for an additional surgery after this surgery to get revision. So all of these things have sort of come into play. And after that week of thinking I'm going to get it done, I'm back to 2024 is just going to be about strength, health, family, and finances.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's part of that
disappointed.
slowing down, isn't it? It's like, yeah, like if it's and weighing up those pros and cons too, like as much as we just want it done, okay, what's best for the collective, like for the whole family, like what's best for all of us.
Yeah. And there's nothing, I'm not going to lie, I am disappointed. I would like to get this over and done with and to be done with it. But perhaps it's a service to our community. Being on this podcast, I get another year of, after 2 surgeries in 2023, this year can be spent on really concentrating on my health and my inflammation and I have my strength back. I'm using the same amount of weights that I used pre-surgery, but my endurance is really suffering. So before I had my surgeries, I would do, 3 or 4 strength training sessions a week, whereas now I'm only really doing 2 strength training sessions a week, and I don't have the energy or the strength to continue on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday sort of thing. I'll do Monday lower body, Tuesday upper body, and Wednesday I might do yoga or something, but I'm pretty exhausted after that to think about doing anything. So I just want to get my endurance back, and I want to be the healthiest version of myself. And post-op weight gain is real. I am inflamed for sure because of the Christmas period, but I think I have put on weight because of the recovery process post-op. So I've got a lot of work to do to get back to where I was before. And maybe this year will give me the space to do that if I just allow myself to put my surgeries back to 2025 or 2026 or whenever it's right for the family again.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And just on that, I hadn't realized because for a long time there, I didn't even think surgery was something that was available to me. So I hadn't realized that. So me, I thought, oh yeah, you go in, you get 8 liters of fibrotic tissue taken away, you lose 8 kilos. And it was only recently I got I got on this thread and people were saying, no, that's not the case. Like you actually gain because of all that fluid put into your body, and your body is like, oh my God, what's happening to me? And so, full disclosure, I have had surgery. So back in 2011, I had liposuction in Thailand. before I knew about lipedema. And but I wasn't weighing myself. I cannot remember what happened. I remember I was bruised, like I looked like I had been bashed like to within an inch of my life. But I wasn't weighing myself, so I didn't know, and I guess I just assumed that okay, 8 liters out, 8 kilos off.
Hmm.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, I assume the same as you, Shell, and I was weighing myself post surgery and sort of recalibrating that number due to the inflammation, after the surgery. And I was sort of like, oh, it looks to me like when the swelling goes down, I might have dropped, 6 or 7 kilos, and that's fine. But now I'm getting on the scale and I'm not the same as I was before. I'm just a little bit less, but I'm certainly not 6 or 7 kilos less. I'm only about 1 or 2. But I've definitely put on weight. The rest period that you have to take, and then coming straight into the holiday period, it's definitely taken its toll. But what's interesting about my frame of mind, about my weight, is because I can see that my legs have shape. For some reason, the scales don't have as big a hold on me as they used to, because my lower half, I was identifying my lower half as an overweight person because that's what my lower half looked like. And now that my lower half doesn't look like that, I don't feel like I identify as an overweight person, and the scales are effectively the same as they were before, honestly. So it's really weird how it's not the number, it's your mindset. And so I don't put as much weight on, what I see that number being at the moment. But what I do know is that I haven't been doing the very best that I can. But we're in holiday mode right now, and that's okay. And I'm good with that. Whereas, come next week when I'm back into my routine, I'm ready to get my strength back. I'm ready to feel amazing. And one thing that I really think I need to do, and I've tried it before and it's never worked, is I need to release I wouldn't call it sugar addiction, because I don't have soft drink and I don't have lollies, but I do have chocolate and I do have cake and I do have cookies. Like those three things, and even my language, my internal language is, oh, I can't say no to birthday cake. My internal language is, I love a chocolate, and I tell everybody, I'm like, I'm a sweet tooth and I love dessert. And I'm saying these things and it's just rehashing in my brain that I can't give this up. And I think I spoke last year about the fact that last year my husband gave up sugar, and he can just give it up no problem and it's not an issue. And I look at him and I go, I really think I need to do that. And I just don't. And right now I don't think it's possible, but I feel like I need to tackle that beast. And maybe this year is the year to do that. And it's going to be really, 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 really hard. So hard because I don't do the other thing. Like I sort of rationalize in my brain, like, well, I don't drink soft drink, and well, I don't have lollies at my desk, and I'm sort of like, why can't I have this? And then I end up having like a whole packet of cookies, and that's not, what am I thinking about? So yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared of failure, but I know that it's like the thing, because
Yeah.
everything else is
Maybe
so
break it
on
down
point.
into steps. Just break it down into little steps, like not rip it off straight away. Maybe you could step it out, I don't know. I don't know. I've done it before and I know I felt amazing. But yeah, I like sweet stuff as well.
Yeah, I like having sweet. I don't know. Anyway, so look, if I can lean on the community for that this year, I know that that's going to change my life if I could do that. And I have done it before in short periods, like 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But I end up just going back to my normal, and I don't want to be my normal anymore. I want to do better.
Level up.
I want
Time
to
to
level
level up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. But then also embracing the seasons, like you were saying, this is Christmas. This is a time where we just get to be with our families, just let routine slide. And it is just a season. Like it is
It's just a
just a
season.
matter of weeks. So there's no point. beating ourselves up. Let's just, okay, I'm back to work Monday, back into it, and I think that goes in the face of like the whole yo-yo dieting thing, like, oh, I'm starting this, oh, I'm starting this, and just embracing that we are going to have these ebbs and flows. And especially, like, I know, like, I've had a hysterectomy, so I don't have the whole time of the month thing with these
Mm.
extra cravings, but I know, like, that's something I think just needs to be embraced. That's what your body needs. Like, so I think it's a lot healthier to give your body what it's craving than saying, no, you can't have that. Because as we've discussed, instead of just having one or two Tim Tams, you'll eat the whole box and then go after a block of chocolate as well. When you've tried to have some celery with peanut butter instead, or whatever
Which is
you're
delicious,
thinking
but
will.
I still want the
Oh,
chocolate
well,
afterwards.
yeah. See, because you still haven't
Yeah.
met that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, honestly, if my lifestyle was just on birthdays, I have birthday cake, and if somebody bakes something delicious, I have what's offered and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And in Christmas, I enjoy whatever guilt free, then I would be good with that. But it turns
Yeah.
into some random Tuesday at work being stressed at 3 p.m. and wanting a snack and going into like my colleague's like chocolate box, and that's nothing to do with it. And or like sitting in front of the TV and snacking on some rubbish. Like
Mm-hmm.
I need we need parameters set around our freedoms, which sounds counterintuitive, but I think that's what I need. I need to set and live by, have some integrity with my parameters around my diet. And I think I would, as you mentioned, level up if I can do that this
Yeah.
year.
Just as some guidelines. Like, it's not even strict rules, just a guide. Like, this is how I live my life. If I'm going to a party, I'm going to enjoy it. If we go to the in-laws and I think I heard Matt say that his mum makes these amazing cookies. Like, eat the cookies. You want to be able to enjoy those things, but as you said, not have a hard day on a Tuesday and go, okay, where can I find some sugar? Yeah, and that's the
Exactly.
key. Like, that is just putting in some different coping strategies, because sugar is a coping strategy. I know for sure. Like, mine is mainly boredom. I'll reach for the lolly jar,
Yeah.
but it's just having a different coping strategy, and like knowing that, oh, I feel like sugar. What do I really need? And I think when we had Jenny, the food freedom fairy, that's what she says. She said, like, just sit with it for a minute. What do I really want? Am I premenstrual and I really want the chocolate? Go eat it. Am
Mm.
I just had a tricky day and maybe I'll go and have a bath, or go for a walk or do a workout, and then revisit it again. Do I still feel like it? No, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely some growth to be had in that area, I think, this year. Now that I've decided not to go with my next surgery, I've got some space. I've got some space to make some improvements.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's we're constantly learning more and getting better. Like, I'm a notorious dieter, and even like this time of year with all the ads coming on, I'm like, oh, maybe I should try that, or maybe I should try that. And it's like,
Mm,
oh, just stop, Shell. Just
yeah,
stop, because you're going external again. Like, let's just tap in to who we are and what we need. And I think that's the hardest thing, because we're constantly being told what we need,
for
but
sure.
we're not actually asking ourselves and listening to ourselves and what we need. Yeah, tricky one.
It is.
Tricky.
It is. And we're forever learning and we're forever growing. Like there's no
Yeah,
end. There's no end to this. Like, and something that's really freeing is that we have the rest of our lives to get to where we want to be. But I just need to do it justice. So I need to do it justice this year, I think, and try a little bit harder to get to where I want to be. Like, take ownership of that, because I have a lot of power around that, and I don't give myself that privilege.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, absolutely. 2024 is going to be a year of reflection, I think, for both of us. Like, just slowing down and let's, like, okay, what am I in control of, and what could I do better?
Mm-hmm.
What can I refine here? Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that. But we have
Oh,
something very exciting that we're doing together this year, don't we?
we do, we do. So in June we have the Lipoedema convention. Is it convention? Lipoedema.
Yeah, Lipoedema
Conference.
Australia Conference.
Yeah, that is in June, and we'll be talking more about that over this season. And yeah, it's held in Melbourne. It's in Albert Park, which is right near St Kilda. And yes, so Tiana and I are both going to go. So we are a bit excited to be attending, and so much to learn and so many people to meet, and yeah, it's going to be amazing. And we actually have Jen on in our next episode, so we'll talk more to her about that as well.
Yeah, you'll be hearing, hopefully, a lot from Lipoedema Australia throughout all of our seasons, because they are the governing body in Australia for, lipedema and its symptoms and its support. And it's really important that we connect with them constantly, and for you guys to hear about all of the great things that they're doing. So we're excited to have Jen on again, and you will be hearing from her or any of her other board members a lot, hopefully, throughout these next seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got our whole season is racked up. Like, we are completely booked out until June, and so we have decided that we're just going to have a short 3-week break, and then we'll be straight back into it. So. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot to bring you in season 3 about the conference once we've been to that and heard all the amazing speakers, and yeah, that would be really good. It'd be really good to
Indeed.
be down there in the thick of it. All these passionate people in one place, love it. Absolutely
Can't
love it.
wait. Well, do you know that, Shell, we've already gone through 35 minutes, and we wanted to create this podcast to be 30 minutes in length so that you could go for a nice little walk around your neighborhood in the morning and listen to us, or your short drive to work. And yeah, we're starting off with going over that, but I think we've covered some pretty important things and a nice kickoff to the start of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you'll also hear, we have updated our intro and our disclaimer, and we have added in there just a little call to action for you all. Just, we want more people to know about us, and not just the lipedema community. We want to branch out as much as we can. So that will be a big focus for us this year, figuring out ways that we can find those living in pain and discomfort and don't realize that there is a whole supportive community out here waiting with open arms to help them. So that is what we want this year, is to grow, and we're very excited because we have already had 3,398 listens as of today, and
that's 19
crazy.
episodes, by the way. Last season was 19 episodes. So we're so proud of that, and we're so grateful to you for listening to us and continuing to listen to us. And those that have reached out to us to say that, we get a lot of messages saying, I recently found your podcast, or I recently found your Instagram page, and I've just discovered I have lipedema, and it's just, we can't get enough of that kind of feedback.
Yeah. Reach out with anything. You've got any questions, you have an idea for a topic for us to cover, please just reach out. We answer all our messages, so we are right there for you. So I think we might say goodbye, T. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we'll let these people get back to their lives. Until next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.
When we started the Lipoedema podcast, we relied on word of mouth and existing connections.
Our following has happened organically, and we are so honoured by your support.
As we learn more about the world of social media and algorithms, we have a request.
When you are listening to our podcast or watching on YouTube, let us know what you think.
Hit follow or subscribe.
Leave us a comment or write a review.
The more engagement we get, the more our message is shared.
And the greater our reach to those women suffering in silence.
Thank you for listening to the Lipoedema podcast. Lipedema and its symptoms vary from individual to individual. The opinions and advice voiced in this podcast are of a personal nature and used for educational purposes.
Please take away from this podcast what resonates with you, and please see your GP or preferred specialist for diagnosis and healthcare. We are Shelley and Tiana from the Lipoedema podcast. Until our next episode, bye for now.